Yes, I love you, Maverick. This is Maverick. And I got Denver over here. Come on, Denver. Up. Okay, yes, this is Denver. Hi, Denver. This is Denver. I'm Maverick. I'm sitting outside and they're just like, give me some lovin'. Give me some lovin'. Yes, I know you're good boys. Okay, good boy. Good boy, Denver. Good boy, Maverick. Welcome to another episode of Morning Cuppa with Shannon. It's actually the afternoon, so I'm having an afternoon cuppa today. I got dog hair on me now. So that is Maverick and Denver. Sorry about the cars going by. So we live on this property, and our house, though, is close to the road, so I apologize about the noise of the road. And you gotta just, I guess every property has like its pros and cons, you know, and the Sunshine Coast, where I'm from, the area we live in is very hilly, lots of rolling hills. So as you can see, I'll just show you we have some really nice views of the mountain. There's a better view over on the other side. But we have this really steep hill, but before the steep hill, though, gives us like really beautiful views. This probably doesn't do it justice. In person's a lot better. And over on the other side of the house is a bit better. But if we decide to keep this place and not sell it, we have plans to build like a shed house in the back paddock. Further down in the back paddock, so it'll be more away from the road, and it's really beautiful back there as well. I like being close to the road for the fact that it's easier to take the bins out. It's safer in some regards being closer to the roads when you live on land because of different snakes and different things. Like when we build a shed house in the back, it's going to, you know, the snakes are already a problem being close to the road, but I feel like it could be more of a problem in the back paddock. But we'll see. We've kind of been 1 foot in, 1 foot out of this property. We've been here for just over 2 years now, just because it isn't the property that I sort of imagined I would be in. The steep hill is a bit of a problem because of mowing and things like that. So at the moment we do pay someone to mow our lawn. It's just easier at the moment for my husband, as he works away, to just pay someone to mow the lawn. And because the hill is so steep, it's going to require some pretty expensive, like you can't really use a normal mower for mowing the steep hill and for the front paddock here where the house is, or the back paddock. So it's going to require a different type of a more expensive machine. And we would have bought one by now, but we've kind of been like 1 foot out the door with this property. I absolutely love it, and I do really love it, and I'm so grateful for it. I am. I know there's a lot of people that can't even buy a house or acreage at the moment, so I'm extremely grateful for this property and being here, and I love it. And actually, for being on a small acreage, it's quite private for a small acreage block. A lot of small acreage blocks are there goes the dogs. There they go. So they run sometimes when cars go past, but we also get a ton of people that stop by and think that because we have these amazing views, they think it's a stop-off point. People take photos, and it's can be really quite invasive of our property. I actually, like, it happens all the time, and people stop and go to the bathroom, and they stop there right on the other side of our fence, and they're like, it's council land. And I get it, people pull over, but here it's so often. But not only is it often, but people do some really disrespectful things. Like this one family a few weeks ago, there was like a husband, wife, and son who, you know, I was inside making dinner for my kids. It was just before dusk and like late afternoon, and they started, like, my kids were, you know, near the deck like that I'm on right now, and we see them, they're just right on the other side of our gate, like right on the other side of the gate, and I see a flash, like, just pointed straight at the house, like straight at us. And it looked like someone was taking a photo of our home and us in our home. So I walk up the laneway, and they start running and getting in their car. And I get there, and I'm like, hi, can I help you guys? Because, like, stuff like this happens all the time here at our property. It's the only property I've lived on that this has happened so often. And they were, like, really treating that spot as, like, a stopover point, like a public stopover point to take in the view. People stop and eat their lunch in our driveway. It's annoying. Anyway, so I said, hi, can I help you guys? And like, I was like, what are you doing? Taking photos like in my property. And they're like, oh, we're just taking a photo with the view. And I was like, well, can you delete them? Because you're literally standing on the other side of my gate taking photos on my property. And you like had your camera pointed straight at my house. Like, I'm trying to make dinner here for my kids, and I've got a flash pointed straight at my face while I'm trying to make dinner, you know, and because I could see them through the kitchen window as I'm making dinner. And yeah, and then it was just like, they're always so rude. Like, they're always like, this is council property and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I know, but you're literally like standing at my fence taking pictures into my property. And it's like, okay, say you lived in town and someone was doing that to you. Someone was just like standing at your gate or your fence taking photos through your fence into your yard. You'd be like, what the F are you doing? You know, like, what are you doing? It's an invasion of privacy, and it's like, what is the purpose of that? So anyway, the son shows me on his camera like one photo, and I know that wasn't the only photo they took, because they literally were taking a photo of each other with our property in the background. It's like, this is a private property. I said, this isn't a lookout. This isn't a public, like, lookout spot. If you want that, there's tons of them around the coast that you can go to. Like, it's just, I just find it rude that you guys are doing that, and you've interrupted me while I'm making dinner for my kids. And anyway, I said to them, you know, you're invading my privacy. I'm just trying to make dinner here for my kids, and I see a flash pointed straight at me while I'm making my kids dinner right at my house. And anyway, then the lady's like, and the son's like, Dad, do you want me to record this? Like, and the lady's like, my husband's a lawyer. And then, I don't think that is an invasion of your privacy legally. And then I'm like, I just looked at them and I was like, okay. I was like, and then, so this guy tried to use the fact that he was a lawyer to like give me some legal jargon about that technically it isn't an invasion of your privacy, because in a court of law, blah, 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 it's like not considered that. And I just said to the guy, look, he was trying to intimidate me, like I'm a lawyer, so fuck off, basically, excuse my language. And I was like, look, you don't intimidate me with your lawyer jargon. You don't. Okay, I said, I don't care if you're a lawyer, or I don't care if you're legally in a court of law with up the definition of the law invading my privacy, but it is my opinion and that is what you're doing. And I was like, well, you are, because I'm literally inside my house, minding my own business, making dinner. I look out my kitchen window and you've got a flash pointed right at me and my kids. So to me, that's an invasion of my privacy. And I said, whether that holds up in a court of law or not, I don't really care. On a personal level, you're invading my privacy. You interrupted me while I'm making dinner and just trying to be on my own land, making dinner. And I've had to walk out here and confront you guys about it because you've got a flash taking photos at me. Like, who does that? I said, how would you like it if you're at your home and someone's standing on the other side of your gate or your fence taking photos of you in your house through your window making dinner? Like, that's basically what was going on. And then he finally was like, he's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, saying to his family, like, let's just go. Like, he's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I understand. And he kind of understood after that. But it's like, anyway, just it happens all the time here at our property. I say to my husband, like, oh, we should open up a farm store because that many people stop in front of our property, that it would actually be a really good spot to have like a farm stand or something like that. So that could be something we do possibly in the future. So we'll see. But we get people using the toilet, eating their lunch, like just in our driveway all the time. But yeah, so I'm glad to have our 2 dogs actually, because they do actually deter some people and make them go on. So I wanted 2 guard dogs for when we lived on land, and I got that, so that was good. I didn't know they were going to be guardy, but they are. And they will protect us. Like, they're really protective of our family. And I know for some people think, oh, you should, like, train your dogs not to attack people and things like that. And, I agree with that, definitely. But there's certain dogs like Dobermans, for instance, who are really good family dogs. But if you were to break into a house with a Doberman, good luck getting out of that situation, because they will kill you. They will mess you up. And we have 2 Kelpies. They're a cross between Kelpie and Border Collie. And so I feel like the Kelpie a little bit, like, they have a similar personality to the Dobermans, at least our dogs do. And they're very protective of us. They're very family oriented. They love a cuddle, but they will like protect us. And they have, we have been in a situation where the dogs have thought that someone was coming after my kids, and where they have, protected my kids in those situations. And so I am glad for that, but also it can be challenging when people come to visit. But I just, I put the dogs in like a room. They got their own like special little bedroom type area. So I just put the dogs in there when we have visitors over and things like that, just to be safe, so that nothing happens. They don't go around just like nipping people, but they have to get to know people, that sort of thing. They're really they really guard our property. Which is nice. It's nice because nowadays, Just with everything going on in the world, it's just like nice to have that extra level of protection. And they'll do it with wild dogs or other things as well that are out there. So that's really nice. This is my Easter cup, an Easter cup that I bought for one of my kids for Easter that we just celebrated. That was a cute little cup I got for them. I got each of the kids a little Easter mug each as part of their Easter stuff this year. So I'm just having a coffee this afternoon with some cinnamon in it again. Nothing fancy today, just a plain old coffee with cow's milk and cinnamon. Yeah, so it's Wednesday today. I had to go to the university last week to do some clinical work and so just some in-class work last week. And next Wednesday, I have to go back to the university to do a practical exam, and then the Friday after I have got another herbal medicine exam. So included in the naturopathy degree that I'm doing, a lot of it is herbal medicine, which I absolutely love. It's become my passion, learning about herbal medicine. So I am going to have another channel that I'm starting that's going to be naturopathy stuff and lots of herbal medicine things in that channel. Obviously, I touch upon it in this channel, but this channel is just more for, like, let's just have a cuppa together and have a chat about just like everyday stuff and scenarios and situations and things like that. So yeah, the herbal medicine stuff will be in a channel that's just kind of dedicated to mostly herbal medicine stuff, gardening, plants, that sort of thing. So stay tuned for that. I'll let you guys know when I kind of start that and get that going. But yeah, herbal medicine is so amazing. It's my absolute favorite part of naturopathy, or naturopathy. It's said both ways. And yeah, it's my absolute favorite part of the whole degree. And so last week I went to the university and so for those who don't know, I've basically been a stay-at-home mom since 2010. 2009 really was when I started my stay-at-home wife journey. That's when I was pregnant with my first child. I was quite sick in the first part of the pregnancy for the first 14 weeks, which is normal. And so it was hard to work, and I decided at that point to I started off working a bit, but then anyway, that's when I became a stay-at-home wife and then a stay-at-home mom. And my relationship with my husband is far from perfect. It really is. It's we have our challenges like every other relationship. Some things are probably worse, some things are better. Every relationship is different. There's no comparison of relationships really between everyone's situation is different. But I have to say I've been really grateful to be able to stay at home with my kids. We homeschool our kids. And it's just been such a blessing to be able to be home with my kids, homeschool them, and just have that time with my kids. I feel like it's they're just such precious years that you don't get back, and you only have a certain amount of years with your kids to just really spend that beautiful quality time with them. And then they're adults, and then they go off and they do their thing. And of course, you can spend good quality time with them then as well. But I just feel like until your nest is empty, for the most part of people, some people's nests never get empty, are never emptied. But I just want to bottle that up and spend as much time as I can. Even now, like doing these talks, I feel like it takes away from time with my kids, you know. I just love them so much, and it's just like I'm just so thankful to God that he made me a mother, and I got to experience that. And I do find it really sad, like for women who want to have kids, and there's just some really beautiful women out there who want to have kids and can't. Of course, there's adopting, and some women choose to adopt, which I think is absolutely beautiful. And it's just such a beautiful gift from God to be able to be a mother and to, you know, have that. And it comes with a huge responsibility where women are really have been given that role by God to not only be responsible for our own emotional well-being, but to be somewhat responsible for the emotional well-being of our children as well. I don't feel as though mothers have complete and 100% responsibility for their children's emotional well-being, but we have a huge percentage of that, of how we raise our kids and how we help them along the way when they're struggling emotionally or with emotional things, to help them, support them, and be there for them. And as mothers, we carry this massive, like, it can be a really huge burden. Not burden, but it's not even a burden. I shouldn't say that word. It's more like a responsibility. It's a huge responsibility. And like, none of us are perfect, and no one's really written the perfect book about parenting. There's no training to be a parent. We're just kind of all winging it. And, you know, we learn values from earlier generations, from our parents. And you either you learn to follow in your parents' footsteps, or you learn from the negative impacts that your parents had on with their behavior and their patterns, and you learn from them and you try to be a better person. And sometimes the negative stuff obviously can be passed on to the offspring, and it's like these generational, some people would say generational curses. They're not all generational curses. It's more like a generational patterns that get passed on. And sometimes the negative ones, like, will get passed on as if they're okay because the parents did that to them, and so on. And sometimes, you know, I think with the negative ones, it's really up to us to try and break them, really, and be better people. But then sometimes we have new patterns and new things that we do that our parents never did. It's just like such an emotional thing, such an emotional roller coaster, such an emotional ride, such an emotional experience, being feminine and being a mother and having that role in a family of really trying to keep the emotional well-being going of the family. Whereas the masculine, they kind of have different roles, and not that they're not responsible for the emotional well-being of their family as well, but I would say that women are probably, the feminine, the woman is probably a bit more emotional and has been given that more of that responsibility by God naturally. And in a healthy situation, we should technically be complementing each other. Like, the masculine and feminine should be sort of, complementing each other in that regard. And I don't believe there's any perfect relationship. I think there isn't a perfect relationship between a husband and wife, man and a woman, or a feminine and masculine if it's like not man and woman. Or, there's no perfect relationship. There's no perfect friendship. There's no perfect relations between acquaintances, colleagues, employees, bosses. Like, there's no perfect relationship because we're all different. We're all different in our beliefs. We're all different in our beliefs. All of our beliefs differ slightly. And I believe that even like in a church, of using Christianity as an example, like even sitting in a church, you have maybe, let's just say 100 people, let's say 50 people that going to a little church, and they're all there for a common cause. And yet I would say that probably every single one of those people that are sitting in a church, if you were to go through their beliefs and their values, that their values would, a lot of them would be the same, but some would be different. And that not two people in that church would probably have the exact same views on every single topic. And, you know, we go through life and we have friends and we have siblings, we have parents, and that causes issues in relationships. The fact that no two people can see eye to eye on every single topic. And it causes issues. It can cause issues in relationship, and it does cause issues, and it's how we deal with those issues that can really, make or break a relationship, whether it's husband and wife, a sibling relationship, parents and kids, friendships, acquaintances, jobs, like an employee with their boss, all of it. And some relationships can be ended so easily. You can get along with someone and be like friends, really good friends with someone, and treat them like family and be really close. And then sometimes all it takes is like that one little difference in opinion that could just unravel the whole relationship, the whole friendship. And it just feels like nowadays people are just, I don't even say nowadays, it happens throughout life, that you could just break your friendship off with someone or a relationship with someone over something small. And really, at the end of the day, we only have ourselves to rely on, really, at the end of the day. You got to take care of yourself. And I don't mean take care of yourself before other people, but we have a responsibility to take care of ourselves, to be responsible for our own actions and what we do, and everything's a choice. And, some people, they have this like victim mentality where it's like, oh, like, I can't get my shit together because this happened to me 10 years ago, or it's this person's fault that I'm in the situation that I'm in now, so I'm just going to, instead of making changes and putting the action in to get myself out of this situation, I'm just going to mope and accept that this is my situation, or expect other people to get me out of the situation because it's their fault. And if you think like that and you're kind of like have that victim mentality, then I think you're gonna stay in that mode and be miserable. And everybody has bad things that happen to them in life. Everybody does. We all do. We've all had stuff happen. It's just how life is here on earth. And but it's how we act. Like, it's our responsibility to get ourselves out of that. Like, someone else might have got you in a mess, but it's how you decide to crawl out of that hole is your responsibility. It's not anyone else's responsibility but your own. And that's what I mean when I say, like, you need to take care of yourself. It's like nobody's going to fix you. You need to fix yourself. And you can get advice from people. Whether you decide to take that advice or not is up to you. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. What you do, how you get out of the hole is your choice. How you move forward and what happens in your life. Sometimes even when someone does something to you, it could be because of a choice that you made as well. And so, you know, when I think about somebody, putting myself in a situation, for instance, where somebody treats me poorly, for instance, for over a long period of time, of years, it's like, well, you got to look at your situation of like, what can you do to improve your situation? What can you do differently by the choices that you make to improve your situation and make it better, rather than being like, well, it's out of my hands, there's nothing I can do, it has nothing to do with me, it's because this person did this to me or whatever else. It's like, okay, but you got 2 feet in a heartbeat and you are capable of getting yourself out of the situation and make different choices that can be better for yourself. And that could be letting go of someone who's toxic in your life, or whatever it may be. But yeah, it's I've got really like sidetracked of where I wanted this talk to go. You'll find that with me. I just start talking and then I'm like talking about one thing and it leads into something else, and before you know it, I want to talk about this, but now I'm talking about this over here. But yeah, I just say what's on my mind, and that's kind of like the direction it goes in sometimes with these talks, and completely forget now what my point of this was, or where I was going. Let's see here. But yeah, like you can sink or you can swim, and yeah, you can choose to sink or you can choose to swim, and or you can choose to tread water and just like stay in the situation where you're at and keep doing the same thing, and it may not be making you happy because you're not swimming in towards doing the thing that you want to do or the life that you want to have. You might just be treading water, or you know, you might be sinking. And sometimes too, it can be people that are holding on to you while you're trying to swim and get to shore. And sometimes, yes, people can be holding on to you and they're drowning, and they can hold on to you and take you down with them and make you drown with them. Sometimes you gotta let people go like that who are causing you to drown as well. Sometimes you gotta break free from those people to allow yourself to swim as well, and not go down the same path as they are. And you know, it's okay to let people go. Sometimes it's okay to let them go. And you know, sometimes when we end friendships or friendships come to an end, it doesn't, and you got to let someone go out of your life because they're kind of taking you down with them, or you don't feel very good around this person anymore. They don't really make you feel very good. They sometimes it's okay. It's just to let them go, wish them well. You don't, not every end to every friendship has to be negative. Sometimes people come into our life for a season, for a period of time in which maybe you both needed each other for different reasons. But if that friendship or relationship isn't making you feel very good, sometimes you have to say goodbye and go on your own way. And sometimes it feels like a big weight has lifted off your chest by letting them go. And that's okay. There's really nothing wrong with that, you know? And it doesn't mean you don't forgive them. It doesn't mean you wish harm upon that person. You know, it's good to just let people go and let them live their own life and be happy doing their own thing and wish them well, and just understand that you were really good friends at one time, but now it's time to move on. And this can happen when you're like at the end of a cycle in your life as well, and starting a new cycle, or when you're going through certain things like really hard things in your life, and then you realize who's there for you and who isn't. Like, there's all these different scenarios. It can happen with relationships that are narcissistic, friends or family that are a narcissistic relationship. And in the case of dealing with a narcissist, it's best just to let them go, I find, and just because no matter what you say to a narcissist, like the conversation never ends well, no matter what. Like, no matter how hard you try and like get them to see your point of view or this or that, or see your side, it's an impossible task. They'll never see it. But yeah, anyway, I might just leave it at there for today. I don't really know where else this conversation is going. So we'll just leave it at there today. And if you get something out of this conversation today, great. If not, that's okay too. Anyway, I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great day.